Hello everybody, Glecko here, back with yet another video. So in this video, I want to put the current Magia Vander against the Magic Knight captains. Now this is going to have a little bit of twists and turns in this video, so just bear with me. So obviously, like I said in my previous with Story of Wand and Sword videos, or videos where I had characters like that in them, I have not read the manga. I plan to. I actually plan to read the manga. I'm gonna go buy some of the volumes, but for now, I haven't. Listen, I don't know about their manga feeds, so I'm going off the anime. With that being said, let's get some ground rules. This video, the outcome is vastly different depending on which version of the Magic Knight captains I use. So I'll give a couple different scenarios. And two, while the Magia Vander ultimately have not really shown anything yet, there is one thing that they do, which is kind of where I'm basing this entire video off of. Because at first, I thought, like, for example, the Magia Vander, they're the 5 mages who drove back the celestial host, and they put a barrier. Initially, I thought they put a barrier over their entire kingdom, but it seems like they actually put a barrier over their entire world. That could change, we don't know. But if they put a barrier over their world, these guys are so far above a Magic Knight captain in terms of power. They might be multi-wizard king, if I do say so myself. Because there's only 5 of them. Now, granted, we don't know how small their world is. We don't know the specifics of their world. Obviously, it's different because there were worlds where dwarves were and elves, and then there was migration and all that. So it's not like ours, but to cover it up, to put a barrier over the entire planet, and for it to only be 5 people who do that, that would mean each one of these guys is at the very least continent level, or slightly above that. I mean, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts. That's the only way I can kind of gauge that. Unless the mechanism that they use to produce that barrier, or like the magical whatever, unless I'm scaling this wrong, that's where I kind of got each of these guys right now. And that puts them way above captains at the beginning. Like at the beginning of the series, they're far above the Magic Knight captains. Now, if we bring in some of the manga feats of what the captains are doing with current captains, that's somewhat of a different story. Somewhat. But I'll tell you what really would make this different is if we included all Magic Knight captains. So that's what we're going to do. Every person who was once a Magic Knight captain and nothing more. So no one who was a captain but then became a Wizard King. So no Julius, because I'm saving him for another video. So yeah, okay. If we count all the captains, the biggest player here, and we're just going to use the anime. We're just going to use anime only feeds. But like I said, if we count manga, it's something entirely different. For the anime only feeds, your biggest contributor, or like the biggest heavy gun for the Magic Knight captains is going to be Mary Leona. She fought 5 elves, right? And in her fight, and 2 of which were stronger than Magic Knight captains. And while she didn't definitively win, I say she gave it was a draw. So what do we know about Magic Knight captains? Well, in the manga, before when Jack was killed by Morgan, or revived Morgan, Jack let off one final slash, and it cut all the way through the Clover Kingdom. Now, he cut through the Clover Kingdom. The Clover Kingdom's pretty massive. So if 9 of them, if the 9 originals count and listen, I know Jack at the end of the manga, when he died in the manga, was a good deal stronger, was slightly stronger than, because he is a commoner, than when he was at the beginning of the series. At the beginning of the series, that means each captain was at least capable of at least that, using a magic attack to just, that covered an entire kingdom. And we saw Julius, and he's the Wizard King, he did this to stop Patri's spell. But it should be noted that he was the Wizard King. His spell actually extended past the Clover Kingdom, and he was nerfed. So let's get back on topic. So Marilyn, if Jack, who was a commoner, who in this universe, these commoners have the lowest amount of magic. There's nobles and there's royals. Well, that's generally how I go. If Jack was a commoner who could do this, then somebody like Nozel, who is a royal, and Fuegoleon are probably could probably make an attack that kind of exceed a kingdom. And like I said, the Clover Kingdom's big. I just thought about this. If you put 9 Clover Kingdoms together, you would get something that's on par with a small planet. So, the Magic Knights could potentially replicate what the Magia Vander did, the original 9. Especially if we consider towards the end of the even the anime series. Actually, let me walk this back. Yeah, because just look up a map of the Clover Kingdom of the Black. Because I actually know there are other countries and continents, like there's the Land of the Sun and stuff in Black Clover. So we didn't see the whole world. But if you put 9 Clover Kingdoms, you get at least half of that. And remember, we're using all the Magic Knights. So there's the original 9, but then there's Marileona, who's 2, so she's 2 kingdoms on her own, or a little bit above 2. And again, like I said, if we're talking end of anime, Marileona is actually going to scale higher than that, because Marileona was able to fight 5 elves, 2 of which were Magic Knight, who were stronger than Magic Knight captains by a good deal. Magic Knight captains who were amped with elf powers, and these elf powers made them. These are the 2 of the apostles of Sephira, so the 2 strongest, well, some of the strongest. So Marileona's probably about, and then there was 3 other elves. She's probably about 3 kingdoms, if I'm being honest, on her own. Then you add in Gilderoy Poizot, who with his vortex magic, that's 4. So that's 4 extra kingdoms. So yeah, let me see. Was there anybody else who replaced? Nope. I don't think there were any other replacements. Actually, the 9 Magic Knights, the Magic Knight captains might be able to win this one, because there's only 5 Magia Vander, and as obviously, episode 12 has already happened. We done seen the Light Mage now. Yeah, I would actually go ahead and I think I'm gonna give this to the Magic Knight captains. Because I think all of the captains can do more than just the entire Clover Kingdom in terms of damage. Because when you look at the fight with the captains, they were constantly using off high level spells, and they weren't like, they weren't destroying, like, they weren't sending off country level attacks because they didn't want to destroy their own country, obviously. But they were using, they were launching high level spells left, right, and center. And again, there's like 9, 10, there's 11 of them now. There's 11. So, yeah. And actually, the Magia Vanders, there's a lot about them we don't know. Because, like, we saw in episode 12, it looked like a previous Magia Vander who may or may not have been Elfie's mother, but we're not gonna get into that. I don't want to get into Mark stuff. She looked like she was beaten and down. I don't think that was Elfie or Elfaria. So they're not invincible, and she was in the dungeon. So I mean, yeah, I don't. But it's the fact that when you consider the powers that all the Magic Knight captains have, that's what really makes this like, ooh. You got Yami's dark magic, his ability to cut through magic and space itself, and which he did use to destroy a spatial barrier. You got William's world tree magic that if he can wrap one of the Magia Vander in that, he takes them out permanently, takes them out of action permanently, and it absorbs their magic. You got Gilderoy Poizot, who has the ability to allow all manner of magic to phase through him. And he can, I don't know what I was thinking. Gilderoy Poizot on his own is a problem that no one in Wisteria Wand and Sword could deal with him at this current point. Because Will doesn't have keys, so he can't track them. And no one else in the Magia Vander, they all don't use, like his soldiers present a problem. His soldiers are gonna, their magic won't work on them. All manner of magic phases through him. In fact, he was even able to go into the Shadow Palace because of that. So we could probably go ahead and take Elfaria. Sorry, not Elfaria. We can go ahead and take, if you wanted to, I think you could take Mara Leona and not Gilderoy Poizot, Lord Kaiser. That's the guy who he replaced Poizot. Sorry for my excuse earlier in the video. I said there's two other Magic Knights. Okay. Kaiser has the Vortex magic, which is a problem in itself because it repels all magic. You could take Kaiser and Mary Leona out because then you got Dorothy and her dream magic. Her dream magic allows her to bring people into this alternate world of hers. And she could, honestly, with the dream world alone, she could take maybe two of the Magia Vander out. No, one out. But she'd probably have to take a captain with her to battle. Like maybe somebody like Charlotte or whatnot. I don't know. But she has total control over that dream world, and she can make anything she wanted. She can make a bunch of clones of her if she wanted to. So yeah, I don't know. No, I don't see the magic. And then you got Jack with his severing magic, and he can cut through. He slices enough, he can cut through any magic. Yeah, the Magic Knight captains have too much versatility, especially if we're talking about after Elf arc. Heck, I think this could even fly for season 1. But if you really wanted to make it, somewhat fair, but even because after Elf arc, Dorothy, Charlotte, William, and Kaiser, those 4 all got a good power up from their elf mana. So yeah, they didn't get the actual elf power, which would have been crazy. I should make that would have been crazy, but yeah, man, it's not like I don't see. No, I'm gonna give this to the Magic Knight captains. I've been thinking this whole time, what could the Magia Vander do, and I can't think of anything. This is Glecko. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Had so much fun making it. See you next time.